Greetings, I'm John Spirit. There have been changes, and welcome to modded Factorio Supershorts. Small parts now use slightly less copper, whereas before it was 7 iron and 4 copper for 4 small parts. Now it's 7 iron and 3 copper. And we only use copper cables instead of those silly air core inductors. One nice change is that carbon dioxide now produces significantly less rich clay when made with tar. I don't know how much less because I've already completely forgotten how much it created before. Yes, according to my calculations, we only need 0.5 soil per second now to deal with rich clay, which is 1 soil extractor. Whereas right now, I believe we have like 3 soil extractors, yes, which we no longer need in such volume. Amazing! Other good news includes the firearm magazines are made from raw coal instead of coal, which makes it easier for me to make them and slay my chests full of ash with them. A far scarier change is the mechanical inserters now require 17 iron per. Who thought this was a good idea? And an inserter past a mechanical inserter, everyone requires 1 duralumin. I am not making that much aluminium. It's just not happening. Obviously, of course, the solution is to improve my aluminum production, but why would I do that when I can complain? Anyway, a fluid binding journal Mark II thankfully only requires 1 engine unit, whose recipe has not changed. Another nice change is that research costs way less. Remember when raw coal cost 100 PyScience? Now it only costs 22. I can get pretty far fairly easily, and it really doesn't look that bad. I mean, wow, that's great. Also, the tech tree feels weirdly cleaner. When did this happen? I don't know, but I approve. Look at that smoothness. It's so beautiful. It should be noted, however, that more automation science packs are required per research. You can see that 2 automation science packs are required for every 1 PyScience Pack 1. So I actually have to multiply my PyScience Pack system to be double the speed of my automation science pack system, which is interesting and mildly concerning, except that I have this nice buffer for now. The one problem is that we don't really get better or more efficient recipes for most of this stuff. So for example, to double my automation science pack production, I need to double my use. I need to have like 4 collectors on this tiny native flora patch. So I'm not sure if this is a good thing or not. By the time we get to production science pack 1, automation science pack will multiply by 30. So I'd need like 60, but 60 collectors doesn't really sound that bad, honestly. Maybe I'm overblowing things. But I think we'll cross the Science Pack improvement bridge once we have more centralized ore processing and all that, like I promised. One problem with the change is that I'm no longer making enough muddy sludge for my moss farms, but this can be fixed with a single washer attached to this extraneous soil extractor. You may notice that I have removed the washer, the soil extractor that was here already. Alright, this washer should now be producing enough muddy sludge for everything. We only need 4 muddy sludge per second, which would require 0.4 soil per second, and since a mechanical inserter inserts 0.6, we should be fine. An underflow valve is allowing the muddy sludge into the system just to make sure we exhaust any muddy sludge from the sand system first, since that's needed to get rid of all the rich clay that we're not really getting anymore. Now, there are 2 other significant problems that have occurred. The Formica recipe has been significantly debuffed. For example, I now need an extra half a wood processing unit to run this Formica line, which obviously I don't have space for. I also need 18 sap extractors, which is double the sap extractors I currently have. Not incredibly difficult, but still a bit of a problem. Conveniently, it looks like I still only need the 6 fastwood forestries I have, and these 3 botanical nurseries, but I do need to add 2 more wood processing units in order to guarantee that I have enough wood for this system. But I need to find a way to fit this fiber. Ha 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 ha. Thankfully, we do not appear to require any more tar, so our destructive distillation column numbers are safe as they are. In order to make space for my extra wood processing unit for fiber, I've moved my tar processing unit up there. And now I can slap this baby down. I only need 1 mechanical inserter because I only need half of this wood processing unit making raw fiber. I've routed the raw fiber down around this loop. Right now, the system appears to be backed up by a slight lack of tin, so we'll use that respite to finish prepping everything here. To make 18 more sap trees, we need a total of 90 sap seeds, which amounts to 225 sap. It's unfortunate how long these sap trees are to make, but at least I have these 9 sap extractors already. While I wait for infinity sap trees, and for the tin to finish backing up so that this system can run as it's supposed to, I've got to get all that duralumin ready for those secondary crushers that I promised you. Thankfully, I have far and away enough aluminium for that. Looks like there is some fixing I have to do to my PyScience system. I forgot to fuel these burner assembling machines back up with coke, And it looks like I forgot to do that warehousing thing I promised I'd do, which would severely help with my slaughterhouse problem here. If only compost were not so far away, I could shove all of these items into composting and make biomass that can fuel lots of different things, including my burner assembling machines here, although I don't know how I'd get the fuel to them. But also probably some power. Who doesn't want some power? For now, though, I need to get a warehouse, of which there are many sizes, some with up to 800 slots. My problem is trying to figure out how big they are. Thankfully, I'm pretty sure Not.Melon's extended descriptions mod will tell me the sizes before I build these items, which is very helpful, and I actually only randomly saw it while looking at their B mod, which used to be something they were considering for Planetons. Probably would still work, but I'm not going to use it in this playthrough. Anyway, installing extended descriptions. With this new mod, we can now see that the warehouse has a dimension of 6 by 6, while the deposit is 9 by 9, and this 150 slot storehouse is 4 by 4, which doesn't seem that bad, honestly. Because I can fit a 6 by 6 thing in that area, I'm going to make the warehouse. And there we go, the warehouse is now full. And by full, I mean obviously not full. While I wait for duralumin, which I have now made more sensible by applying chests of copper and iron and chutes to the duralumin production, it looks like all my sap trees are done. In order to make space for my other 9 sap extractors, I have decided to move this one sap extractor all the way up here. I'm also having them all hone in on feeding the left side of the belt. A chute will do the trick of pushing sap in harder. To my dismay, it looks like my chests for circuits are slightly in the way of this sap system coming into place, so I'm going to move it up slightly, and damn the symmetry. I've joined it up on the right side of this belt, and soon enough, all of these sap extractors should provide sufficient sap for the constant production of Formica. This fun extended descriptions mod has some other benefits. Formaldehyde, for example, if you look up at the top there, has the color that it takes on in fluid pipes shown to us. I assume along with methane. You can even confirm this by looking at this pipe for formaldehyde. It is probably the same color. Anyway, I'm just finishing up by adding the last 2 necessary wood processing units that we need to fully power our system. Although wood processing units each produce 0.625 wood per second, which is slightly more than mechanical inserters can grab, 8 mechanical inserters, which is the number of wood processing units I have, can get 4.8 wood per second, and I only need 4.539 wood per second, so I should be just barely fine. And I'll still thankfully make a surplus— wait, no, I need another fast-wood forestry. One sec. Oh no, I need another moss farm? Where am I gonna fit that? I thought everything was fine, but I was wrong. I was incorrect. I was bad. Alright, we're sitting pretty at 300 duralumin, which is half the secondary crushers we need. With 12 more stacks of aluminium and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 stacks of copper, we will have the next 300 duralumin and finally be ready to make our 30 secondary crushers. Oh, apparently we also need 1200 steel, which we totally don't have. Actually, we're pretty close. Another thing I'm going to try to do is, now that I have more electricity and electric mining drills, reset some of all these burner mining drills to keep failing on me by running out of space because of all that damn ash. For example, I need 2 electric mining drills to replace these burner mining drills. Boom, no more ash problems, constant stone. Yay! Alright, now to fix my little moss problem, I'm going to take this washer and move it down here. Okay, the moss problem is solved. I just need to construct 1 more fastwood forestry. Now it just needs 25 trees, so I should probably get a bunch of tree seedlings. My friendly botanical nursery will do the same sort of thing it did in the very recent past and turn tree seedlings into trees. Okay, I'm making my first 5 secondary crushers now. We are on the verge of making secondary crushers. We just need 6 more stacks of iron and a little bit more steel, which is taking longer than I'd like it to. But while we wait, I guess it's time to set up what will be our coal processing system for power. And I'm going to put it up here because rather than make everything excessively unspread out, I will make it properly spread out. Okay, I've got most of my secondary crushers put down here. Oh, here's our last 5 secondary crushers. Yay, we're done! Now each of these uses 1 coal per second, so it's probably going to need 1 inserter on each of them. It produces just over 1 item per second in a big old crazy mess. We need to be careful with how we output these items, because, for example, these 14 secondary crushers, which I was going to put everything from them onto 1 belt, will output slightly more than 15 items per second. To evenly space out the output of these secondary crushers, these inserters are some inserting to the near and some to the far. In total, we need to handle 20 coal per second, 10 crushed coal per second, and 3 coal dust per second. All of the belts will join right here, where 2 splitters will split out 1 belt of coal on the left and 1 on the right, each of which will be 10 coal per second. Now that inserter speed has been doubled from mechanical inserter speed, each of these inserters will turn at 1.2 items per second, so with coal being something that has a 4.0 megawatt value, I can use inserters for both the ash and the coal. However, I am trying to spare my inserters until I have a consistent duralumin production, which I will not have until I centralize my ore processing. Here is that setup with ghosts included. Now up here, the 2 remaining belts will come up and make a crushed coal set of belts. It looks like we'll need 7 boilers on each side instead of 11 for using the crushed coal correctly. Now, an interesting factoid is that this system alone is going to produce, if it's working at full power, 30 ash per second. In solid separators, this amounts to 1.5 coal dust per second. This sits in addition to 3 coal dust per second, which makes 4.5 coal dust per second in total. Incidentally, however, that produces 4.5 ash per second. Although I could use a matrix solver for this, after some additions of the extra ash, we come out to about 4.736 coal dust per second, but that in total amounts to 4 more boilers. Now, the 10 ash per second from each side of this boiler system will go into its own solid separator. The results of these solid separators will join the splitter, be divided up as evenly as possible onto both sides of the belt, and then split in half one more time to join these 4 steam engines that will operate based on the ash. I might have... I think I accidentally overestimated the number of... mind. Well, worst comes to worst, we just have random extra steam engines that never do anything. Isn't that fun? Well, no, it's not fun. I don't know what to think. Let me think. Yeah, it looks like we only need the 4 boilers. I'll stockpile iron oxide from the separation into a steel chest, and for now, I'll do the same with... I should probably get another steel chest. Yeah, I'll just swap them. Okay, now we've got all of our secondary crushers hooked up. I wonder how much power they're using. A little bit on their own. Once I switch these coal transport belts to be fueling up that system, it's game time. If I don't want to lose all my power, I need to transfer things fairly quickly. Alright, here things go. For a moment there, I was seriously wondering why I only had 143 megawatts when that was exactly what I had before, but it turns out I left out a small electric network connection way down over by these electric mining drills, which I will now fix. Wow, look at all that power we have. It's extra power. And all it took was this ginormous system. Now, I hope the system doesn't consistently just backlog itself. Well, I guess we'll find out. But if all goes well, we will be using the full extent of our power for a long time, as long as I don't accidentally spam too many mining drills, since each one of them uses a whole megawatt. But the great thing about this is that all this was accomplished using the same electric mining drills plus 1 each that had been powering a mere 10 boilers before. Now they're powering like 22 or something. Anyway, sorry about the excessive length of this episode. There were a lot of things I needed to fix before I could even have, my coal generation set up. And also, I didn't have enough resources at the very beginning of the episode, so I couldn't do that. So, resource generation is going to be my next thing, sort of. I need to set up antimony production first before I can get the stuff I need to improve my iron production. And if I really wanted to, I could improve my iron production now by just slapping down more miners and decentralizing where I'm putting the furnaces, but I am too lazy to do that when I could make a better system later, so I'm just going to wait it out. For the better system that will come sort of as soon as antimony is done. Yay! We've got our little antimony friend right here, soon to be grabbed. For now, however, that's it for today's extra long episode. As always, if you have any feedback, I'd love to hear it. I hope you enjoyed!